What's up, guys? This is Gabe from S&P Speed Innovations, and today we're not doing anything high-tech or tuning related. We're doing a little bit of repair. So I have a local customer here with that first gen 4Runner sitting over there, 22RE, fuel injected, and he had an issue. The problem is when he was driving it, it's a drivability issue. This thing's bone stock. I mean, as stock as it can be. And the issue he had was when he was driving it. If he would roll on the throttle, it would fall on his face, right? So if he'd get into it pretty heavy, it'd fall on his face. But if he just lightly gave it throttle, it would start to slowly accelerate. So it tells me there's a little bit of a, I won't say tuning issue because there's nothing you can do to tune it, but there's definitely a fueling issue of some sort. It's just not getting enough fuel for the air. Maybe it's got too much, depending on what the factory computer can see. The factory computer on these 22RE motors are extremely limited. We're talking OBD 0, where you jump a wire and it's got Morse code blinking lights and stuff like that in the dash. So after doing a TPS, the first thing we did is use the voltmeter, checked resistance um, on the throttle position sensor to make sure that the resistance was reading within a decent variable range, and it was. So the next thing we did is check the airflow meter. This is the airflow meter here, and what we found was as soon as I pulled the throttle body, well, actually, what I went to do is we went to go do a fuel pressure test, and when you do a fuel pressure test on these things, they normally don't energize the fuel pump until after it's running or in the start position. But here's a trick. That's a fuel pump circuit right there. So as we can see, that's just a micro switch. That micro switch right there establishes contact as soon as the trap door moves. So what I do to do a fuel pressure test is I just undo the air box. I get in there with my hand. I do that, and that energizes the fuel pump. So the engine doesn't have to run. We can do a fuel pressure test. And when I went to do that, I went to go stick my finger here to move the trap door, and there was no trap door. So I'm looking at it going, what the hell? Where's the trap door? So we pulled the airflow meter off, and this thing was stuck wide open. When it was stuck wide open, it's at the very end of the scale here. So at that point, it's thinking, the computer thinks that the engine's getting all the airflow it needs to, even though it's not, even though it's just at an idle, and the engine's not revving that high, and there's not that much air traveling through it. That was the reason why it wasn't running. It wasn't running very good. So after trying to search for another airflow meter, man, that was a failed search. Couldn't find anything at all. We decided to take this apart this morning. And in order to do that, you're going to need one of these. Okay, these are a lifesaver as an impact driver. Trying to get these small screws out. They put silicone over them, but trying to get those small screws out with just a screwdriver, you're going to round most of them off. So this makes it a lot easier. You just kind of put it on, push down, twist it, hammer it, and it just pops and moves and makes them a lot easier. So took the plate off, and what we found was that there was some debris had gotten stuck in here in the bottom of this. Something got past the filter, and it was wedged in between the trap door here and this plate. So we went through, we got a carbide bit here, a surface scraper, knocked all the high spots off of it. So this is a nice carbide deal. So wherever the high spots is, this is going to find it, and this is going to knock it down. And I took it over to the wire wheel and used the edge of the wire wheel, so this way we're not like gouging it with the wires. And I have a very soft bristle wire wheel, and just kind of knocked it flat. Did a quickie cleanup on it. I think Nathan did a little bit of cleaning on this side anyway. Make sure it's nice and flat. And what we have now is the trap door works just as it should, even wide open. No resistance, not dragging on anything. So that's the airflow meter. repair that we have. These are definitely tough and challenging to adjust, which is why we came up with the Haltech system, is because we had a customer come in with the stage 2 motor from LC Engineering, and between the ported intake manifold, the big bore throttle body, the stage 2 cam, stage 2 head, the header, the exhaust, everything was just at the end of this scale, and we were unable to get this thing to run right. So I had this idea for years, put a computer system on it standalone, and that's what we designed. So anyway, that's a mass airflow sensor repair right there. What we're doing now is we're just kind of going through all of these little channels here. We're just going to scrape out all the silicone we can. We're going to just get all the silicone out of these little channels here. And then we'll put some fresh silicone, just a thin bead inside here, just to get this thing to seal. We're going to take these and we're going to wire wheel them just so they're a little cleaner. And we'll seal everything up, put it all back together, and get that fly ride right there down the road. We fix it, put it back together, and everything moves the way it should. But we could not get this thing to read right. It doesn't matter what we did. We went through and tried to move this to different spots, trying to increase the voltage. And what we found is that when we measured the voltage on that pin right there, we just weren't getting as much voltage out of the airflow meter as we should have. We never really exceeded past a volt, to be honest. No matter how we swiped this, it just didn't happen. So unfortunately, we're not able to save this. So these things are getting really hard to find these days, and trying to find a reputable one from like just a normal auto parts store is impossible. So I told the customer with that 4Runner right there, I said, hey, we can't get one, see what we can find. He says, what about on Amazon? Well, I don't know, that's Amazon, you know how that is. It's all on the bottom of the barrel normally. So they found this one for like 70 bucks, 80 bucks, and let's go take a look at it. So when we first brought it over, we unboxed it, looked at it. So yeah, physically it looks good. Connector looks good. I mean, everything looks good. And let's just see what happens. So it is a little grouchy. It's not 100%. It wouldn't rev up like that before. It was definitely better than it was. And we're going to have Nathan here. Go take it for a drive around the complex real quick. I can tell you so far that's a lot better because it wouldn't drive that good earlier. All right, other than all the rattling that's going on, how did it run?
It drove a lot better.
Yeah, like a normal 22R truck almost? Okay. It's drivable, and it wasn't even drivable before, so that's it. That's progress. So that's it. Unless somebody has a good reputable source, that's what we have. The Amazon one is drivable. As you can tell, its startup was a little bit weird. Not 100% happy. I'm sure we can pop the top off and adjust the spring tension in there. Try to do a little bit of old school tuning to it, but for the most part, the Amazon one does run. It does get it up and down the road, so it's not perfect, but it does work. If you're in a bind, I guess that'll work. We could probably put maybe a description to the product part number or something like that and see if that helps some of you guys out. So that's it. Don't forget to do all that stalker stuff. Like, subscribe, follow us. Ring the bell, all the cool stuff. Or if you don't want the notifications, don't ring the bell. That's cool too. But drop a comment, tell us what you think. And I know it's not like Haltech related and all the IFI tuning that we normally do. Like I said, we're just trying to help out a local guy here in town, local customer, and yeah, it's really doesn't have anybody to take it to. So.